your gig income or the touring or whatever it might be, is that enough to offset the steady W-2? If the answer is yes, and you have like your savings in case like some gigs dry up, let's say you go 2 months without gigs, then what? Play devil's advocate with yourself. If I don't get a gig for half a year, what does that do to me? Do I have to go back to work? Did I leave a good job that had benefits and healthcare and all that stuff? Because healthcare is really expensive. And if you have an honest conversation with yourself and the answer is, yes, I can afford this, yes, I'm gonna take the plunge, do it.
Ever wonder how top DJs actually built their careers?
I had to do 15 years of hard work to get any of the recognition that I wanted.
Where I saw a turning point in my career is when I became true to myself.
From marketing and mindset to networking and negotiation, I'm giving you the tools you need to build a lasting career in dance music.
Give them bits of you and your everyday life.
You have to change the way you view the word no. Like me, I'm encouraged by it.
Join me, Olivia Mancuso, and industry leaders as we reveal what it really takes to turn your passion into profit. This is Elevated Frequencies. Welcome to your weekly elevation, your dose of real strategies for real results in dance music. I'm Olivia, and today we're talking about something that most artists avoid until it's too late, your financial future. My guest, Danner, is living proof that you can do it all. He's a DJ and producer signed to incredible labels like Desert Hearts, Tool Room, and Rawthentic, while simultaneously building a successful career as a financial advisor. What started as a Patreon subscription turned into a friendship, and now he's sponsoring Chicago Music Nexus because he gets it. Artists need real financial guidance, not generic advice from people who have never been in a green room at 3 a.m. and then had to go to work the next day. If you think you need to wait until you're making six figures to start planning for your future, this conversation will change your perspective. Sometimes the most important investment isn't always into your next track, it's in the life you want to live when the music stops. You are a financial advisor.
Yep.
And a DJ.
Correct.
Let's talk about how those two worlds collided.
Honestly, I never thought they would. They're very different mentalities, very different way of thinking. But, over time, I realized there's a lot of similarities in the work that I do and with music production and becoming an artist, right? I look at it as, I'm running a business. Being a DJ producer in that artistic space, you are running a business, right? So, I just started bringing a lot of the same structures that I have in my workday to like my production life where everything's kind of blocked out and I schedule things and I just have like a set agenda similar to at work. And it works for me. And now, the further along I get into the career, it's just becoming more and more, I guess, melded is a good word for it. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities between, running your own shop and building a brand and running a production business.
And we'll talk the reason why you're here today is to talk about, financial advice for artists. But one thing that I think is really cool is you've had your music signed to so many incredible labels. And I think that's a testament to, obviously your talent as an artist, but also your ability to compartmentalize your day and be very structured. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yeah. So, since I started getting serious about production, I just decided, hey, my most creative time for me is really early in the morning before the cell phone rings, before the emails come in, before work happens. So I just made it a point to start getting up at, 4:30, somewhere around there in the morning, get up, make a huge pot of coffee and get an hour and a half, 2 hours of just working on music in. It's usually when the dogs come in for breakfast, that's when I know I'm done. But I try to get in there 5-6 days a week, 2 hours a day.
Okay.
And just keep going.
So this is proof that it is possible to, and for you, it's more than a 9 to 5 because you're a managing partner, right? That's the correct term?
Financial advisor.
Financial advisor.
Correct.
But you're in the office a lot. So it's possible to do it all.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's always the message that I'm trying to send to people. So just a little background for people listening, how we met. You found my podcast, you found my Patreon. Yeah. We started working together, realized we both had a similar background in TV before in a previous life, which was crazy.
Yep.
And then you came to Chicago Music Nexus, which I was so excited about and grateful for. And you saw a financial advisor on one of our panels and kind of sparked an idea. So this year, GM Wealth Partners is sponsoring
Yep.
Chicago Music Nexus.
I'm really excited to do so.
Why did you decide, which we're so honored and
Yeah.
grateful, why did you decide you should sponsor Nexus?
So, as you were saying, like we came last year, and I was just blown away by the event. Made a ton of friends. Just had a great time, and thought, you know, there's a lot of people who are either in the beginning stages of their career, maybe they're further along the lines, or doing sync work or whatever. And you know, for me, I'm looking at a room of people who probably don't know much about the financial advising world. And my practice, we try to make ourselves accessible to everybody, no matter, hey, if you're just starting out kind of in like the adult life, we call it, where I got bills, I got a mortgage or kids or whatever, all the way up to the really successful artists who are touring and they're making money and they're trying to figure out, you know, how do I save? How do I invest? We like to work with everybody. So I thought it was a cool opportunity to sort of contribute to Nexus this year. You know, hopefully we meet some folks that would like to work with us. If not, totally fine, not a big deal. But, you know, I think I bring a really interesting perspective to the table, being as, hey, I'm on the same side of the table as you guys.
Yeah.
Right? I'm in it. I'm doing the same thing you
know
are.
the crappy fees that DJs get at so many gigs. Like it's not like you're which I think is like, we'll get into this, but I think that's the biggest thing for artists is like people don't understand like how hard this is. And it's like, yeah, because you're on that side of the table too, you know, intimately. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, even if we just offer some tips or some simple advice to anybody, everybody, then, you know, for us, it's a success.
Yeah. No, I'm so grateful that you guys are doing this because by and large, financial advisors, any sort of, you know, advisors when it comes to money or those adult life tasks that you talked about are pretty inaccessible. And there's a lot of people, you know, there's like gurus online and stuff, but you can't always trust their motives because at the end of the day, they're trying to make money too. So this is really a benevolent thing that you are doing. And, you know, you're keeping it in the community, which like we're really grateful for. So let's get into the nitty gritty. What are some mistakes that you've seen creatives make managing their money?
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily just be creatives, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody at the very base levels, everybody's kind of the same, right? They want to find success. They want to save. They want to go on trips. They want to buy a house. Everybody kind of has the same kind of goals, right? So, you know, creatives are a person working a 9-to-5. The biggest thing I see is they just don't know what to do when they come into some money or, hey, I start making some extra cash and what do I do with it? I just put it in the savings or I rack up credit card debt or, you know, what do you do? And, you know, for us, it's just some simple advice and giving some basic guide rails and here's a simple plan and follow it. And you just keep building upon that plan. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the biggest thing is they just don't really know what to do once you have money to do things with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people kind of fall into this mindset where it's like, well, I'll just save it. And saving it, having it sit in a savings account, isn't necessarily the best thing.
It's detrimental to your money.
So putting your money in a savings account is detrimental to your money.
You should have, and this is kind of a rule of thumb, right? 'Cause everybody's different. So, like, you should have 3 to 6 months of just cash in a savings account. Call it the rainy day fund, right? So the car breaks down, the hot water heater breaks. There's some type of emergency where you need cash or maybe you miss a paycheck. Something happens where now you need money immediately. That's where that rainy day fund comes in. And again, my number is different than your number, but 3 to 6 months is typically a guideline. Any money beyond that that's sitting in a checking account, you're losing out to inflation, right? Banks are paying like 0.01% interest on your money. So, I mean, we've seen it over the last couple of years. Like your dollar is going less and less far, right? A coffee is now $8. It used to be $3 5 years ago. Yeah. So any money that's not kind of growing to at least keep pace with inflation, you're losing out. So you should have like your 3 to 6 month rainy day fund. And then after that, any extra dollar needs to go into some other type of account that'll grow along with you.
Okay. And we'll get into some tools, because I think that's where people are like, okay, I've heard that before, but then like, how do I actually do it? Which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I'm sure you've seen a lot of the bad financial advice out there, especially online. Like I said, there's, gurus who actually don't have any, and like a lot of people don't know, don't realize that like when you get all your licenses, like you can't just be going and making content online. Like there's guidelines that you have to follow. Yeah. So it's like people need to keep that in mind when they see people so nilly-willy giving financial advice. They don't necessarily have the credentials to do so.
Yeah, and that's even why like everything we're talking here is just general. Like I'm not saying go open an account with this, like very general. And then when real questions come up, we bring it, hey, let's take this offline. Let's get on a call. Yeah. And then we can really dive in because, you don't want to just take advice from, some random person on the internet, or even like the big channels on TV, or like the famous names. You got to understand who's paying them.
Are we talking about what's his name? The one who yells all the time?
Maybe.
What's his name? I always forget his name.
Was it Kramer?
There's Kramer, but then who's the other one who has like the Southern accent?
Oh, what's his name?
Why am I forgetting this guy's name?
Ramsey.
Yeah. Oh my God, that guy yells too much.
Yeah, it's just, what you have to understand is who those people's audiences are, right? What their sort of pitch is, what companies are paying them, right? And then you kind of can get a peek behind the curtain. But I think that the big takeaway is advice that I would give you is going to be different than advice I'm going to give some lawyer or some doctor or some auto mechanic. Right. Everybody's advice is going to be different because you're all leading different lives with different goals.
Right. But there are general principles, which is what we're talking about here, that anyone can implement today, no matter where you are in your financial journey. So are there any particular financial myths that you would like to take an opportunity to dispel?
Like the big one is like, it's never too early to start planning, right? I get this all the time where, we'll get to it. I'm too young for this, or
I'm too young to start planning for my future. Right. Or I don't have enough money to plan for my future. If you have silly. $5 extra, you technically have the money. If you
just take, like, to your point, $5 extra a week or a month, whatever, and you just put it into some account and grow it, over time, that $5 a month turns into a real amount of money over time, right? So we see it all the time where people come in their late 40s and they want to get serious about retirement planning. And you're like, where have you been 20 years? Like, you just missed 20 years of growth. Wow. And now we have to truncate, a lifetime of savings into essentially 15 years or 20 years to get you to living the lifestyle you want to lead in retirement. So the longer you wait, the harder it makes planning. Right. Because it just makes it more expensive.
Right. Because even if you can't contribute that much today, it's much better than zero.
I think it's like there's, I don't know the stat off the top of my head, so don't take this literally, but it's like you save $500, I think a month, and you start at like 18, by like 60, I think you have like millions of dollars. Yeah. It's nuts how just compounding interest and growth works. Absolutely. So the biggest myth is I have time on my side, I guess. I can wait. I can push this off. Just have a conversation with somebody. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 18. I just opened an IRA for an 18-year-old because he gets it.
That's amazing.
Like his dad's like, you should do this. And that's great. Yeah.
I felt late doing that at like 28, Yeah. And I'm so glad that I have one now. But I wasn't really taught either, I had to, and that's, and I feel for other people who also didn't get that sort of financial education from their families. But once you hit a certain age, it's not an excuse because it's not like you never heard of it before.
It's weird. It's like when I was growing up, money wasn't really talked about. Right. It was just kind of like you figure it out and then you go to high school and you learn like algebra, but you can't balance a checkbook. Right. You don't understand how taxes work. You don't understand how interest works.
And let me just say this. We both were in journalism. If we figured it out, anybody can figure it out because
it's not that hard. Especially now you have ChatGPT. Like
Totally.
There's no excuse anymore.
Totally.
You could literally type in, how does APR work on my credit card? ChatGPT will literally lay it out for you.
And there's no excuse not to take the time to do that.
Takes seconds.
All right, so let's run through for instance. So you have a DJ that is playing, let's go big. Let's say that they got a gig out of state. And the fee is $2,000. Okay. And they have to pay for flight and hotel themselves.
So it's $2,000, like all in. So whatever the flight's coming out, hotel's coming out.
It's okay. So let's say they've got like $1,000 left after that, right? Maybe they want media for that. They have a photographer or videographer who will do it for they'll do it for cheap. They'll do it for $150, $200. Okay. So they got like $800 left.
And taxes.
Yep. But there's expenses that they can write off, right?
The hotel,
all
the
those
flight,
other
all
things.
that is...
So let's explain that. If you're getting paid $2,000 for a gig, but you're paying out $1,200 in expenses, your taxes owed are only on that remainder.
Correct. And again, this is stuff you should run by a CPA.
Of course.
I am not a CPA, but that's basically the gist of it.
Right.
So what you should have when you start making like consistent income, at least look into establishing an LLC, right?
Yes.
That way you can track all of your business expenses through the LLC, right? So
Meals,
LLC, everything.
Ubers.
Everything that is related
Zins?
to
Just
the
kidding.
business. Zins, maybe, if you have a good accountant. But yeah, so that way the LLC is actually paying for, like you have a bank account in the LLC's name. The money gets paid to the LLC. All your expenses go to your accountant. You do QuickBooks or however you want to work it out with him or her. And that way you're not trying to like go through your personal checking account. Well, hey, here's my hotel, here's this, here's that. And you're like cobbling it together. The LLC is your best way to go once you start making money as an artist.
Yep. And it's like, I think there's a myth too that people think they need a certain amount of money. You don't have to. When I started my LLC, I was not paid as a freelancer for one single gig yet, but I did it preemptively and I gave myself a loan to the business.
Establish it.
Just to put money in the bank account. You can even do
things, and again, I'm not a CPA, so this is not like tax advice, but I know you can have your LLC own your car.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
You can have your LLC pay for your studio space in your house. Like there's all kinds of things you can do, which is why like you should have a good CPA in your corner.
Yes, that
right.
That's Absolutely. my biggest platform. You know that I shout that from the rooftops. Because when I first started, so we had the same. He's a great guy. We had the same, CPA for like years when my husband and I were both W-2 employees. And then I was the first to jump ship and start a business. And I was like, well, can I expense this? Can I expense that? And it was like things we're talking about, studio. And he was like, and I kind of realized that when I started my business, he was kind of like the cut and dry. He just really kind of turns and burns W-2. So I had to go out and find someone who is specifically for entrepreneurs. And I happened to find a great person who like works with a lot of creatives, and I am always happy to give him more business. Anthony Castaldo, he's the best.
Shout out Anthony.
He's very straightforward, very cut and dry, but he will talk to you for hours. Like he's a great advisor. And that's what I love like about you too. Like you're willing to, it's a hard job. You guys have a hard job, especially during certain parts of the year, and like being willing to like be an advisor to people is a huge thing. So, so back to this $800. We know there's going to be something you got to give to the tax man. What should they do with that remainder? Obviously, they got to feed themselves, but like, if they could save something from it, what would that be, and what should they do with it?
So it goes right back to: do you have a rainy day fund? Do you have like I need equipment fund? Everybody's a little bit different, but you start with that rainy day. If that's, hey, I got 10 grand saved up, I'm great. Then you start looking at maybe a high yield savings or maybe an investment account.
Can you explain a high yield savings really quick? Because I think that's like one of the lowest barriers to entry.
It's like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Everybody's bank offers them typically. If not, like there's online banks that offer them. It is a savings account. So you're not locking the money up. You're not tying it up. There's no penalties to do it or take money out. But you're just getting more than 0% interest on it. So Right now, I think high yield accounts are like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It depends on
I got one at like 5 still, I think.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Because they kind of rise and fall with
Yeah.
treasury rates.
Okay, so maybe it has gone back
So either way,
Yeah.
but it's typically a free account, right? So like I have one through Amex.
Mm-hmm.
It gets interest added to it, I think monthly. But in a pinch, if I need it, I go online, click a button, and it goes back to my bank account.
Right.
The other thing you could start to consider, depending on like what your cash flow looks like, is an IRA. A SEP IRA would be great.
SEP IRA is for self-employed people.
Self-employed.
And then I think it's important because I learned this about SEP IRA. So first of all, an IRA is a retirement account.
Individual retirement account.
Individual retirement account. And typically like W-2 people have those.
So W-2s usually have a 401k through their employer.
Right.
And if they don't, they use an IRA. But as a business owner, you have access to a SEP IRA.
Right.
Simplified Employer Pension.
Yeah. And it's a great thing. I do want to say what I learned is obviously your maximum contribution.
It's way higher.
It is, but it also depends on how much you write off.
Correct.
So you can only put in there what you end up, your business ends up profiting.
Right. It's two different numbers depending on what the business gross is.
Yes.
And again, this is where a really good accountant comes in. Because I know, when I work with accountants, say, hey, we think we could put in X, run it by the account, and they'll either confirm or they'll say, hey,
Right.
actually, no, we can only do this.
Right. And that's where I feel like we're getting in the weeds here, but
A little bit, but it's fine.
Financial planning is really important. Like it's important all year, but a lot of times a good CPA for taxes
Worth
at
their
least.
weight in gold.
Yes, 100%. And we pay ours a good amount for a reason. And his fee is also a write-off.
Yes, it is.
So in Q3, we start to put the pieces together. It's like, well, we'll owe this much in taxes, but if we lock up some of our money in our SEP IRA, then that money is still leaving our account for now because you can't access that retirement money until later. But would I rather have it go to my own financial future or go to the government?
Go to the government and look what they're doing with the money. So
exactly, they're not doing shit. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So all of those components. I mean, it seems overwhelming, but like you said, ChatGPT.
Simple stuff.
ChatGPT, explain this to me like I'm 5. Well, here's how much money I should make. Which one should I do? Always check with a professional and an expert. Don't take that as gospel, but that can help you as a starting point.
Yeah. And even for folks coming to Nexus, like you're going to have my phone number.
That's a beautiful
thing.
thing. Just call me. Yeah. That's incredible.
It'll take 30 seconds of like, do this, do that, call this, like easy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing that you're so accessible for people. Okay. So I love that. So if you have your rainy day fund kind of, well-funded, look at a high yield savings.
High yield savings.
Look at and by the way, your rainy day fund can be your high yield savings.
Yeah,
why not?
1,000%.
You should have that money growing. But sometimes there's a case for like different accounts, competitive rates.
Yeah, and like I said, everybody's different. Like me personally, with my house, like it's we have our Bank of America account with X in it. I know if I need cash in a pinch, I can go down to the branch. They'll give me cash.
Right.
High yield savings, typically it takes a day or two to get it.
Right.
So it's just about liquidity and how quickly you might need it.
Right. And your credit cards, are you in good standing there where you can float it for a couple days and pay yourself back? Okay. And so then the next thing would be after the high yield savings would be the SEP IRA or IRA. And those you can't access until you're
59 and a half.
59 and a half.
You can get to it.
But you'd be penalized,
But you're
right?
penalized. So it is your absolute last line of defense in an emergency.
Yeah.
It's a 10% penalty. And then when you withdraw it, you're paying ordinary income tax on it.
Right.
So it's very expensive money to access.
Right. And the reason why it makes sense to wait and access it later is because, ideally you'll be retired, so you won't have income coming in, so it'll be taxed at a much lower rate.
Exactly. So that's an interesting myth.
Oh my
That's
God.
an interesting
Dispel
myth.
it for me.
So most people think that when you retire, you're going to retire into a lower tax bracket. More often than not, people either stay in the exact same one or they retire into a higher one.
Fuck.
Because there's, now they're at home, they have access, if they've saved for retirement, they have access to all this money. And what typically happens, and we see it a lot, is they start spending more and more and more because, hey, maybe there's grandkids, we're going on vacations, maybe we buy a bigger house, whatever. It's almost the exact opposite of what you would think.
Oh my God, you
It's
just
crazy.
rocked my world.
Yep. I don't know if that's a generational thing, because, in my mind, when I retire, I want to move into like a 2-bedroom beach house and like
Right.
I have my surfboard, I'm good. I'm
Right.
fine. But typically what we're seeing with people retiring now is they retire into a higher bracket.
Interesting. So this is a long game. This is a forever game.
Yeah.
And that's why it's even more important to start figuring it out now.
Yep.
Because,
at least having a plan in place.
Right.
And your plan can change along the way. It should change along
Right.
the way, right? Your priorities at 25 are going to be very different. Like, I could tell you my priorities at 25, and I'm 40 now, wildly different person now,
Yeah.
right? And, I started saving at 27, I think, something like that. But you just prioritize things differently, and you plan differently along the way. But along the way, you're doing all of the right things.
Right. So why do you think, you're in the trenches with other DJs in the booths and the green rooms. Why do so many, and I'm not trying to categorize artists in any specific way, because we're just talking about DJs today because that's what we're talking about, but applies to plenty of people. Why aren't they thinking about retirement? Is it just because like music, you're just so in the moment? It's just,
I think it's a very abstract thing, right? So, for me, I have a pretty clear vision, like 55, 60, I'm working, but like 1 day a week just to manage my business. And like, I'll have a team that'll take it over.
Yeah, you can never not work.
It's
like you got,
I don't
and it's
well.
good for the mind to stay active, right?
But I think, especially when, again, back to 25-year-old Dan, retirement was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right?
Seems like forever.
It's a very foreign thing. But now at 40, I'm like, oh, that's 20 years away. And the last 20 years went like that. So it's hard to kind of conceptualize it. But I think if you just have the mindset of, I should just put stuff away, even though I don't know what retirement's going to look like. And who knows what it's going to look like, by the time we're 60. Right? Social Security is probably going to be gone, at least in its current shape. It's definitely not going to be here. So I think, our generations have some struggles, like, the benefits that our parents and our grandparents got probably not going to be here. Pensions went away a long time ago. So when I talk with people like, hey, your plan for your later years in life is probably going to fall all on you. And if there's benefits, you get Social Security, whatever, well, that's gravy on the top. And that's kind of how you should think about it.
Yeah, that's how I just never assumed there would be anything for me on the other side unless I create it
whatever
myself.
Whatever you make is what you take.
Whatever you make is what you take.
And if there's stuff that, you get some Social Security or a pension or whatever, you work for the government, you get benefits through them, gravy on the top, right? Yep. But you should plan as if it's all on you, because it's going to just put you that much further ahead of the game down the road.
Yeah. And you're right. It is such an abstract thing when you're younger. I'll worry about this later. I'll worry about this later. Yeah. And then life starts to come at you fast.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't run away. Like, it's amazing that music is an escape, and it's like therapy for so many of these things. But like, you have to have your house in order so that you can continue to enjoy it and engage with it like intentionally, and not have it start to be like a dangerous slide.
It's I think some people thrive in chaos, so it's very easy to be like, I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. But it's usually, if you don't at least have some kind of grasp on what's your goals, what do you want down the road, even if you just kind of identify some like basic ideas and like work towards them, I just feel like you're putting yourself up for a world of hurt, in your retirement years, where, like, let's be real, nobody's hiring 65-year-old people to go back to work. Nobody's bringing you on for a full-time job down the road. You have to do all your planning ahead of time.
And you can DJ at 65 for sure.
Yeah. For 1,000%.
But you're not going to want...
It's a young man and young woman's game, for sure.
Yeah, right? I went out till 3 a.m. to see my brother play last Saturday, and I'm just starting to feel normal today, and it's been like 4 days.
I just played in Philly last week, and I was out till 4, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm shot.
Because when you get used to like your routine too, you can't not wake up early after that too.
oh no, my eyes open.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess we're up.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, I guess the 3 hours of sleep is what I got
That's all
today.
I get. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're right. It being an abstract concept is so dangerous. So are there good financial habits that any artist can start implementing today, besides obviously striving for those savings accounts? Because I want to like dispel the the avocado toast and $8 coffee. Like, sure, it's not ideal, but like if you love that, like my thing is always like, and I think his name is Ramit. I think it's Ramit Sethi or something. He talks about like defining your rich life. So he's like, if you fucking love cars, get a cool car. Just make sure your house is like a little bit.
Make sure your house is in order.
Right. But like make sure, like if cool cars are your thing, don't spend so much on clothes, but absolutely go get that car. And for me, I have my buckets where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of money on this. But as you're going to see when we drive to go visit the Nexus site, my car is duct taped.
Yeah.
But you know what? I buy very expensive furniture and my car is duct taped because I know where I want to invest my money.
Yeah, priorities.
Right. So is there any...
I think that's an easy one. Like, and I'm a big believer in celebrating success, right? So even people I work with, hey, they bring a big account in or they close a big case or whatever. Go treat yourself to something nice, but don't spend all of your money on that thing, right? So like, you know, treat yourself well, but have some restraint. You know what I mean? Like live within your means. Mm-hmm. But if the avocado toast is your thing, then do it and just don't get like 3 cans of Zins.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. It's all give and take. Are there other financial habits that an artist can start implementing that are just easy? Like, we want to make this easy. We don't want it to, like, I think that's why so many people fail to start, because they're like, oh, this seems so complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Just try to surround yourself with good people, right? Like you said, a good CPA. And again, if you're just starting out, a good CPA is not going to be expensive to do your taxes. Like $200, $300.
Right, because they charge based on like how much work they're doing.
Right.
So if you don't run 6 businesses, like
my tax returns are a disaster because there's 3 businesses. It's a nightmare and it's very expensive.
Yep.
But I have a great CPA who understands what's going on, organizes it, and we do really well. But when you're starting out, like, have a good CPA. Have somebody with some financial knowledge so that you can bounce ideas off of. Because just like music, like, your financial planning is collaborative, right? You should have a team behind you, whether it's mom and dad who give you good advice, or a best friend, or you have a financial advisor. But like, surround yourself with smart people who kind of know what they're doing, and also recognize if you don't know what you're doing, I need to ask somebody who does. Mm-hmm. Right? Because that's where you get into let me go on YouTube or like Google this, and then you're getting advice from, somebody who has a bunch of streams, but no real knowledge.
Right. So for artists who are like just starting, they're getting to that next tier of, okay, I'm pretty close to quitting my full-time job. I think I can sustain myself, based on gig income. What are what are those triggers that like kind of indicate they're ready, and what should they be doing before they make that transition?
That's an interesting one, right? Because again, everybody's gonna be different. But does your gig income, or does your the touring or whatever it might be, is that enough to offset the steady W-2, right? So if the answer is yes, and you have like your savings in case like some gigs dry up, let's say you go 2 months without gigs, then what? Right? Ask yourself, like, play devil's advocate with yourself. If I don't get a gig for half a year, what does that do to me? Do I have to go back to work? Did I leave a good job that had benefits and healthcare and all that stuff? Because healthcare is really expensive, right? And if you have an honest conversation with yourself and the answer is, yes, I can afford this. Yes, I'm going to take the plunge. Do it. Like, you're building to that moment. So don't be afraid to jump. Just make sure you've crossed all your T's, dotted the I's before you give up some steady income.
That's where I think mindset comes in too.
Yeah.
I mean, money mindset, like, there's a lot of fear around money, either because it's not talked about when you're growing up, so you don't really have an understanding. You were taught to feel certain ways about money. I have a story that I've shared before on social media. I used to have like a severe lack mindset when it came to money. Like I would go buy toothpaste and be like, oh my God, like I'm going to go broke. Like I need to check my account.
Yeah.
And it's because I grew up with a parent who kind of instilled this in me. I remember so on one side of my family, my nonna, that was my grandma, my dad's side, immigrant, cared very much about buying high quality things, the whole buy once, cry once sort of mentality.
Sure.
And investing in high quality, not buying a lot, not overbuying. And then on the other side of the family, it was a little, and both, by the way, both sets of grandparents came from poverty. So that was how it manifested in my nonna, though, like invest in good quality things when you do, save up to buy something once. On the other side, it was like scarcity, scraps, like we got to scrap everything together. We have a little bit of milk left. We're going to freeze it so it lasts through the winter sort of thing. And so that kind of, that kind of transferred onto my mom. And so I got my first paycheck when I was 16 years old, and we went to the mall and I knew exactly what I wanted. This is back when like clothes were still like high quality, like now you're buying
like Amazon that falls apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now even when you buy something that's like luxury, it's still a piece of garbage. So I went to BB. That was like the big store back then.
BB in the mall.
Yep. Yeah. Back in the, mid 2000s. And it was like 2006, I think, or 7. And I got a leather jacket, and it was a real leather jacket. And I was like so proud of myself. I met up with my mom, and basically she was like, well, why did you buy that? Why the fuck did you buy that? You spent your first paycheck on this, the entirety of it on this leather jacket. Like, that is the dumbest thing you could ever do, blah, blah, blah. I had that leather jacket until I was 26 years old. 10 years.
It's real leather.
10 years.
Yeah.
And I finally had to get rid of it because it started to tatter at the elbows pretty bad. I'm like, I can't walk around like this.
It'd probably be pretty cool now.
Yeah, right? Now it'd be like distressed. Yeah. But like, so that changed my brain chemistry for literally, I'm not kidding, the next until I turned 30. And then I had this whole transformation about money, and I kind of let go of fear. But that one moment I can trace back to when I really became afraid of money. Because I was like, oh my God, I can't trust myself. Look what I did. I spent my whole paycheck on this one thing. But it happened to be one of the best investments I ever made. So I think we all intentionally or unintentionally get these money messages, programmed into our brains.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially when it comes to DJing, because a lot of parents do not understand what you want to be a DJ, you want to be an artist.
It's so foreign to older, our parents' generation. They don't understand it. Where they just look at it as my parents oh, you're just going to go, you push buttons.
Yeah, they don't get it. They think
they
it's
don't understand
frivolous.
It. Yeah, it's silly. Why are you staying up late and doing this? It just doesn't, it's not in their sphere. Right. They didn't grow up. They didn't have that. It was, just remember they were going to a concert during the middle of the day and whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's just a totally different world where it's, not only I'm DJing, but I am bringing people into a club. I'm providing a service to a business, and I am in myself running a business. Right. Right. So it's just a different mindset. It's totally, it's new.
Yeah. And that's what I really fear can penetrate the brains of young creatives who just feel like they can't, it holds them back from taking that leap or seriously going after it. And of course you need to check off all those boxes you talked about to be able to make the full jump into music. But then there's also the route of, hey, and this is when I went from, having a W-2 job and then deciding I was going to start working for myself. I wrote out in my journal, I'm like, if I don't have X amount of clients by this time, I will go back to bartending, or I'll go back to working on a beer cart on a golf course.
Goals.
You set I set
boundaries and some goals. And
right. And I never ended up having to do that because I had a clear plan. But I knew I would do anything not to go back to a full-time job. So I was like, I don't really like kids. Not that I dislike kids, but I'm not a kid person. I was like, I will babysit. And guess what? I babysat a few times just for a couple $100 here or there. And by doing that, by going all in, I was able to get to where I wanted to go much faster. And it's because I got over the fear mindset.
Yeah. And I mean, even, I think we talked about this the other day, if you are dead set on making it as a DJ, there's other things you can do besides DJing in a nightclub, like DJ a wedding.
Why is that such like a dirty word?
I still do it once in a while. It's great.
And you have like 7 other jobs.
Yeah, it's easy. It's not easy money, but
comparatively,
it's very good money.
Yeah.
You probably, as a wedding DJ, I've gotten higher fees than I've ever even got. Like nightclub pay compared to a wedding DJ is apples and oranges.
Right.
So if you're dead set on it and you want to just play music and you want to DJ, look at other avenues. Like go, out in Jersey, people are DJing in like gyms now.
Really?
Yeah,
that's such a Jersey thing.
Yeah, like the spin classes and all that. They'll have like a DJ in there while people are riding the bikes and all that stuff.
Right,
but
and that's like during the day, so it won't compete with what you're doing at night.
You don't have to advertise it.
Right.
As like, you're never going to see like Danners doing a wedding. Like,
right.
You'll never see that.
Right. And spin class, you get to be around a bunch of cute girls.
Sure.
I mean, like what's like
terrible.
Yeah, like what a horrible gig. I know. I think there's like a lot of like fear in that, I'm not a real artist if I'm like DJing weddings and stuff. But again, you don't.
It makes you, first of all, it makes you a better DJ. If you can do a good wedding, open format, DJing in a nightclub is simple.
Yeah.
Right? If you can play stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s, every decade.
To YMCA.
And keep grandma on the dance floor with like the 5-year-old on the dance floor, and you keep them on the dance floor all night, you're a good DJ.
That's so true. That's so true. It's like a brain exercise.
Yeah. It's super fun. I enjoy it. I don't do a lot anymore. I used to do 2 a month, like years ago.
Wow.
But it was, in Jersey, I think Jersey has more expensive weddings than most places.
I think Jersey, it's like only second to New York, I think.
Yeah, because I was getting, I got like $1,500 a night.
Yeah. I think that's what we paid.
And you play like 3 hours?
Yeah, that's what we paid our wedding DJ in 2019. And who's an amazing house music DJ, by the way. I was like, that's what I want. The real niche that like somebody needs to steal this, like find couples who only like house music and then go DJ their weddings.
I'll take gigs on occasionally, but they have to like fit within, do you want like houseier music?
Yeah.
Because again, like you could play like the disco and all that, but I'm not really looking for it.
And there's plenty of people who want house music weddings.
Especially younger, like 30s, late 20s, like, they want house music.
Yeah, that's what we did. We had like the disco and funk until like 9, and then it just like switched to straight house until midnight. And we had both grandmas on the dance floor too.
And that's it. And again, at the end of the day, if you're focused, like there are other avenues, I guess the takeaway is to play music and make a living. I know wedding DJs that make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year.
Wow.
Playing weddings.
Good gig.
I don't know many touring DJs that make that much.
Damn.
And you're just playing, a couple different country clubs every year.
Getting fed.
In your backyard, and you're eating every
Yeah, you're getting fed.
So, again, not telling everybody to go be a wedding DJ all of a sudden, but it's definitely an avenue, or like I said, there's...
Sure. You can teach production. There's
I just saw in like coffee houses, I think it was in Miami, they're doing like breakfast clubs.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's like a huge thing. Yeah.
If you want to create something, talk about a killer avenue.
Yeah. I'm all about throwing your own pop
do your own thing.
And then you learn a lot of principles of business doing that. Okay. So before we wrap up, I want to talk about tools. So financial tools that any artist could start using, especially because we didn't really talk about investing, because I know that really is something that you need. Yeah.
You need like a real sit down. Because it's not just like, hey, go buy this fund or we're going to invest. Like,
right, especially with all the crypto.
And with my practice, we're not like stock pickers. I'm not going to call you and be like, you got to buy Apple or whatever. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We will use different managers that build portfolios. And so we have a lengthy interview process where we're understanding what are your goals, what's your cash flow look like, what's important to you, what's not. Are you okay with loss? Are you not okay with loss? Like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Right, your risk tolerance, yeah.
Yeah, so, any type of person that's giving blanket, you should do this. You got to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, red flag for sure. Is there any sort of, because I've used through Morgan Stanley, like they have like, I don't remember what they call it, but something that like, if you continue to invest this much or put this much in your savings, is there any tools online that people can start using or budgeting
there's all kinds
tools?
Of free accounts that'll do that. Like, what's that one? Like, I think Acorn does it. Betterment has that. most online, if you're using like they call it robo advisors, where you're just putting money into an investment account, the algorithm does it for you. They'll have trackers. Like I know with my practice, our clients have, they log into their account, we can run analysis, and they have their thing. Like if you do this, you're going to get that in X amount of years. But yeah, most banks have it. It's relatively easy. And again, ChatGPT. If I invest $500 and I assume a 7% rate of return annually over 30 years, what will my account be worth? It will spit a number out.
Genius.
So and that, for me, that's motivating stuff, right? I do this all the time. If I increase my savings $500 and I get this much growth, what does it do for me? And like, for me, like seeing that big number at the end, I'm like, oh, cool, let's do that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that stuff's all easy. Again, like the technology is all there. So it's either like find it online or ask somebody who knows where to find it.
Yeah, I love it. And I think the two words that just jump out at me from this are obviously risk tolerance, right?
Yep.
And discipline. If you can have some discipline.
Discipline is is the biggest one. And that's where people usually fall off the rails. Like,
yeah,
they don't have the forethought to say, this is not a get rich quick scheme. Financial planning is not I did it today. I put my plan in the drawer, and in 30 years I get it out, blow the dust off, and then like I'm ready to go. It's something you work on consistently, right? We talk to our clients once a quarter, maybe twice a year, depending on what they're doing. But having that check-in with yourself or with your team or however you decide to set yourself up, so that way you're not 55 years old and going, oh crap, I didn't do anything. I didn't save. What do I do now? Because that's when things get unpleasant.
Yeah. And we don't want things to be unpleasant.
Yeah.
We don't. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for sponsoring Nexus.
Of course.
I mean,
really excited.
This is life-changing stuff for a lot of artists to have access to someone like you, and you get the grind. I mean, what are, just quickly shout out some of the labels that your music appears on?
So Tool Room, Coco, Issues, Authentic, Jack City, Night Service Only, Sloth Acid's coming out soon. Got another couple big ones coming out, so
you know what you're talking
we're
about.
doing it.
You're doing it. You're doing it all.
So come to Nexus.
Come to Nexus. Thank you.
Cool.
That is your weekly elevation. Here's the reality check. If you have $5 extra, you just need to invest it in your future. It is that simple. The artists who build lasting success aren't just thinking about their next gig, they're thinking about the next decade. And speaking of building for the future, Danner will be speaking on our panel all about finance at Chicago Music Nexus on November 22nd at the Joinery in Chicago. This is where the industry comes together for real conversations about building sustainable careers in dance music. Remember, the best day to invest in your future was yesterday, but the next best day is today. Get your tickets now at chicagomusicnexus.com. And remember this, success in dance music isn't about luck, it's about strategy. I'll talk to you next week.